May the Noble Triple Gem bless you all. So once again we meet on Vesak Full Moon Poya Day to continue our discussion of analyzing the Lord Buddha's teachings and application of those teachings in our day-to-day life. Before proceeding further, we'll pay our homage to the Noble Triple Gem by chanting Namaskar 3 times. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Today is Vesak Full Moon Poya Day. Dear children, this day is a very important day for all Buddhists who live all over the world, because it commemorates the birth, the enlightenment, and the passing away of the Lord Buddha. These 3 events, which are considered as the cardinal events of the life of the Lord Buddha, and it is being celebrated all over the world. And of course, it's the brightest festival among the Buddhists who live in Sri Lanka as well as all over the world. And children, this day is important because of his teachings as well. Because on this very day, achieving the status of Supreme Buddhahood signifies the establishment of the Buddhist ministry on this earth. So dear children, it is from that day onwards that we were able to listen to the teachings of the Lord Buddha, and by the first discourse, it established officially the Lord Buddha's ministry. So, thankful for all the teachings that we learned from him, we still have the Dhamma, and we put off the fires of desire, aversion and delusion because of the teachings that he discovered to all sentient beings. And one of his teachings is regard to the value that we give to worldly things. So let us talk about the value. People talk about different kinds of values. What are the things that you hold so valuable to you? It might be your mobile phone, or your laptop, or your tablet, or different other things that you consider as so valuable to you. But dear children, when you consider something else as valuable, do you know that you undermine yourself? For you to consider something else as valuable, unbeknown to you, you have to undermine yourself. Otherwise, you cannot consider valuable things in the outside. Let's take an example. It will make it easy for you to understand. Let's say a child who considers his laptop as very valuable. So the parents have bought him a laptop for him to ease out his studies. Therefore, he can take notes and he can store all his classwork books and class notes. And also, it is quite useful for his studies, of course. But the moment that he considers that it is so valuable, and from that point onwards, he tends to think that I don't value even the worth of a laptop. My dear children, think for a moment. Why do you have to undermine yourself this much? when you attach to something which you consider as very valuable, your true value is being depreciated. When this value becomes depreciated, you won't be using the maximum potential of all your capabilities, because you have something else which is valuable than you. My dear children, don't let this happen to you. Because when this happens to you, you are dependent. Your happiness is dependent on which you consider something else as valuable. For that child, he cannot be happy without his mobile phone, or without his laptop, or without his tablet. Oh, just let us take another example. Let's take the example of a very affluent person who is very rich, who has mansions all over the world. Dear children, you may think that he is so happy. He is so happy wherever he goes. But dear children, if we take the example that, let's say that he has a mansion in Sri Lanka, and when he comes to Sri Lanka, then he gets a call that he has to return to his another country. He has to go to, let's say, he has to go to Japan. And he has a mansion in Japan as well. But if he gets a call to go to Japan immediately, can he do that? Unfortunately not. He'll have to wait at least a few hours in the airport. And what does he do in the airport? Let's say, for example, his mother is in Japan and she's got sick and he has to return to Japan immediately. But he's on his vacation in Sri Lanka. But can he fulfill his desire all at once? No, dear children. If you attach to something, that means you have undermined yourself. The salient feature of this undermining is that your happiness is dependent on something else. On this matter, your happiness is in Sri Lanka. That is why you came here. So, if his happiness is in Sri Lanka, so he should be happy in Sri Lanka. But whenever he gets a call, where is his happiness? His happiness is with his mom, with his mother, who is in Japan. Therefore, you can never be happy. If you don't give the true value to yourself, to your human life, then you can be happy. And your happiness will not be dependent on anything. Wherever you go, you will be happy. Because the most precious thing to you is your human life. Because with this human life, which you have got, and with the presence of the truth which has been exposed by the Lord Buddha 2,500 years ago, you can relieve yourself. And that relief will not be a temporary one. And it will be a relief which happens once and for all. Yo sahassang sahassena, sangha me manusejine. Lord Buddha utters these words. There could be a person who has won thousands of battles. And out of these battles, if one can win the battle of his own, if he can win himself, that will be a victory which lasts forever. Therefore, dear children, try to win yourself by combating with your own defilements. And the path has been paved 2,500 years ago. And we are there to help you, to guide towards your own liberation. And let us join in hands. Let us join in for this cause of liberating yourself from the defilements. And once you have liberated, that will be a victory which lasts forever. Therefore, dear children, when you attach to something, or if you are already attached to some things, just don't forget that our happiness is dependent and we have undermined ourselves. We haven't lost the true value that we have given to the human life that we have. To be honest, dear children, the human life that you have already got, is priceless. No price can ever match the true value of the human life that you have already got. Because we know it. We know it with the presence of Dhamma, how much of a relief that we can get. Therefore, our only purpose of these discussions is to deliver that liberation with you, which is possible. We truly believe that it is possible. That is why we invite you all. Let's do this. Of course, you can do this. So, let us revise what we have discussed so far, dear children. It is the Vesak full moon Poya day, which is very important for all the Buddhists who live all over the world. And it signifies these three salient events in the life of the Buddha, which is the birth of the Prince Siddhartha, enlightenment of the Lord Buddha, and passing away into Parinibbana. And of course, we talked about the values. If we value something else, the possessions that we have, then inadvertently we have undermined ourselves. And we knew how it happens by using few examples. And we know which is the true valuable thing for us. It is our own human life in the presence of the Buddhist ministry, which is live and thriving. Let's rejoice with the present moment that we have, with the presence of the Lord Buddha's ministry, as well as a true valuable human life that we have already got. So with that, we truly can liberate ourselves from all the defilements, with the guidance of the Mahasangha that we get. On that note, we can conclude for the day. Before conclusion, we will transfer the merits that we have earned from today morning until this far. And may all those sentient beings who have been born in the woeful plains, may they all redeem themselves from the woeful plains and be born in the blissful plains. And may they abstain from unmeritorious deeds, fulfill the meritorious deeds, fulfill the Noble Eightfold Path, and attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.